On October 20th, 1967, me and Roger were riding up the creek in Bluff Creek, and we looked to past the root ball to our left, and up stood this creature. Now, you all know the story from here, but this is the confession. So, when I chased this creature up the bowling alley just after the sandbar there, she kind of put her two hands on this log and started to bend over and shake her rear end there profusely. And I saw those Bigfoot cheeks clap. And I looked back, and Roger, he was doing some relaxed dance. And he said, "Now everybody in the club getting tipsy." I'm not sure what that meant. And, well, all I thought was, they really are real. They really do exist. So that's the confession, and Russell Accord can suck my...
That's the confession. Wow. Leaked audio. Wow.
Never thought we'd be able to get that in our hands. She bent over and I saw them Bigfoot clap, those Bigfoot cheeks clap. Clapping them Bigfoot cheeks right here live on the Squatchers Lounge podcast with Jonathan. That's right, the man for the Bigfoot investigator from Southern Florida. No, Southern Florida. God, kick me in the face. It's okay. Southern California, soon to be gone. Was it Idaho?
Gone. Yes, sir. Idaho. Yeah.
Idaho. You know how you can tell which one of the beauty contestants is from Idaho, right?
Which one?
She's the one that
actually.
Idaho. Yeah, that's right. She says Idaho. That's right. Exactly. Idaho is right
That's
here.
how you know.
That's on the Squatchers Lounge podcast. Hey, this show is not for children under the age of 13 unaccompanied. If you think your parents love you, go ask them. You'll be surprised at their answer. Dean, no, there has been no word on Dean. And unfortunately, I don't even have his phone number. I don't have a way to contact his wife. I have not heard anything from anyone. Like, I even sought out a couple of people in his bonsai club and they didn't get back to me. So I really don't know what's going on, but his Facebook page has been DOA since like June 30th. So I'm feeling the absolute worst and I don't know. So if anybody does hear from Dean, please contact me. Let me know. Tell me he hates me. It's fine. Tell me he wants to light me on fire. I don't think that's the case, but if it is, it's fine. I'm okay with that. Lots of people do, everybody likes the idea of being friends with Reverend Jeff until it's time to be friends with Reverend Jeff. Well,
oh boy.
Yeah, that's exactly. Oh boy, is exactly the case. So here is the man himself. Where are you coming from? You're out by the coast.
Live and direct from Long Beach, California today.
Long Beach.
Last few days.
The home of 173 shootings in the last 2 weekends or something?
174. Just had one outside the door right here, I think.
We keep
and we got to wear these things right here, but luckily I kind of spiffed it up. You see this?
Yeah.
At least we got this going. You see that?
This is literally what I do
got
when
the
I
logo.
go out. I join the Crips. So, I join the Crips every time I go out now. So, because we don't really have any Bloods or Latin or Latin Kings up here or MS-13. So, I can get away with being a white Crip. I'm not exactly white, but whatever. I am technically a person of color. I'm 50% Native American. I mean, how much more of a person of color can you be? It's like being half black.
I think you could be more. I think you could be a little bit more, but I mean, that's enough. That's enough.
Well, that becomes the question: is how much colonialized DNA do you have to have in your system to be considered white? Because we all know that white doesn't exist any more than black exists. I mean, there are black people from Jamaica. That's where our vice president's family is from, who owned black slaves in Jamaica on the sugarcane plantations, but I digress. We'll get back to oh, you poor girl. I stepped on my walking buddy's foot. She's friggin' 25 pounds at 15 weeks.
Oh,
She's gonna be a 50 pounder. Yeah, they say at 16 weeks you can double what they weigh, and that's pretty much. It's not a DNA godsend, but it's pretty much what they're going to turn out. So she's going to be able to walk 6-7 miles with me. That'll be good. I want to be able to do a 10K. No, a 5K.
You probably could do that
5K.
very soon.
5Ks. Yeah, no, I want to be able to do a 10K. I got to do 5Ks. I've done 3.1 miles a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
That's not a problem for me anymore, to be honest with you. But no, the 10K. So the 10K would be 6.2 miles. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, but we'll find out. I have walked 344 miles now today, out since January 4th. So
wow, man, that's a huge turnaround, dude.
I want to walk 500 miles by the end of the year, and I don't.
Compared to when I met Jeff Kelly, holy smokes, man! Yeah, you couldn't walk 3 steps when I met you at the stopping to take a breath, up in the elevation
in Kelly Cabins. Yeah, that was a rough...
No, before that, even up in the other side, across from the Sierra Buttes.
Well, that's. That was yeah, okay. I'm lost, and we've been so many
before
the
time.
The time before the time. We've been so many places together now. I can't remember where the heck they've all been anymore.
Yeah,
Jonathan's a great guy to go squatching with. If you're down in Southern California, you can reach out to him. I mean, the dude's always out in the freaking woods. Yeah, I mean, they hike, they camp, they do all that stuff. They squatch. What have you been doing down there lately?
Oh, man. Well, let's see. First, I went up to Los Padres National Forest, which is a place that I had never been before. It's up by Santa Clarita, just north of Santa Clarita. And I was up there for like 3 days or so. And it was really cool because I didn't know that amount of wilderness existed out there. There's the Sasqui Wilderness, and just north of that, it just keeps going and going right before it turns into like crazy desert. I mean, you're in the hottest desert you can imagine, like 110 degrees, miserable. And then all of a sudden you drive up these god-awful roads and you're up in the pine tree forests. And it's beautiful up there. It reminds me of like Big Bear or something like that. But to get there, you're taking like the most god-awful roads. The only vehicles that were getting up there were like heavy duty. Like Tate's Honda Ridgeline was probably the closest thing to a normal vehicle that I saw. And his truck handled it well. But we got up there, did some squatching up there, went over... kind of did a little investigation and a recap on a couple years ago. He filmed something he couldn't explain up there, and something he was pretty sure was a Bigfoot, but he was very kind of reluctant to say so because of the footage. When you look at the footage, he didn't want to share the footage out with anybody. I had heard him talk about it. I met him a couple years ago, and he told me about it, and I went, okay, all right, well, let's see the footage. And if you just look at the footage, not amazing. And could be maybe anything. But when you get to know him, you hear his friend's testimony, who was there as well. You go to the ridge, you do a full investigation, you go look at exactly what happened. Then you're like, holy crap, well, it couldn't have been anything else, And man, it's one of those deals where like you gotta know the context of the situation. And after that, we went to Bluff Creek, and that was awesome. 3 weeks later, we were up in Bluff Creek. Me, Tate, and the 2 dudes from Small Town Monsters, which are Eli and Alex. And we were up there. And also this other guy named Ron Reed joined us. And the Bluff Creek Project guys had their annual camp out and get together.
Was that the annual July camp out up there? I've been to that one a couple of times. It's a lot of fun. They invite people to come out and camp at Louse Camp with them, take people down to the film site. Mm-hmm. Trips up to Onion Lake, I'm sure. I mean, you've now been to a lot of those places where we talked about that, if Bluff Creek was going to be a hoax, where they filmed that creature would have been like the absolute dumbest place in the world to go and film a hoax.
For real, yeah.
With all the other areas that were just as convincing, that were easily accessible, that no one would have been able to find any easier than what they found that site. They could have literally driven the van up, unloaded the horses, put somebody in a costume, and had them walk out behind Louse Camp down by the creek for that matter. And nobody would have really known the difference.
Exactly. Yeah. It would have looked something like that. It could have been around on the side of the road, looked something like that. Ivan Marks footage dressed up as wife. You know what I'm talking about? That's a
Oh, good
perfect example.
God. Yeah.
But that caught wind for a while. You know what I mean? And
Well,
it
it
didn't.
made it into mainstream documentaries. I mean, some
Exactly.
editor looked at this and went, wow, that's fucking great. No, bro, it's not
It wasn't great.
great
No.
at all. Now, if Marks was the one that actually edited that stuff, that's fine, and his wife Peggy, because they worked for Disney. I mean, they were real wildlife people.
Yeah.
Like anytime you watched a Disney movie, The Wonderful World of Disney in the 70s, if you saw like a picture of a wildcat, coming after a dog or something, he filmed all that. Him and his wife are the ones that went out and filmed all that stuff for Disney, and they worked with actual creatures in the wild. These weren't zoo animals. I mean, like I say, he's a badass. He was a hoaxing jackass, but he is, in the grand scheme of things, still a genuine badass.
Exactly. Yeah. But if you were to hoax, I mean, he did hoax something like that. But I think if Patterson were to hoax something, it would go somewhere along the lines of that.
Well, it would have had to have been with the lack of suit pieces.
Exactly.
The lack of suit capabilities. I mean, Marks kind of had a really good, almost believable Bigfoot suit. The only problem was he took too clear pictures.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, Patterson took some clear pictures too, and which serves to the argument of why would you take that clear pictures?
When you compare the Patterson footage to something like the Ivan Marks Cripplefoot footage, you can literally see one thing is a costumed idiot, and the other thing doesn't look like a costume at all. If it is a costume, it would look like it's a costume. I mean, now Tate Hieronymus is out here, but I don't think he's a relation to Bob, is he?
No, but that's the running joke, and if you think we don't give him a hard time about it,
Uncle Bob. Hey,
wrong.
That's your Uncle Bob, Deadeye Bob.
One-eyed Uncle Bob.
Bob Hieronymus, is
it's
the one
that
always claimed to be the guy in the suit. Literally was 90 pounds overweight and one-eyed.
Yeah,
I mean, he described the suit as overalls. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. Hip waders.
Hip waders, yeah.
Hip waders with a jacket, both covered in horsehair, with a face mask made out of an old football helmet.
Yeah.
That's literally he described as what he put on to walk. The problem with that is like we said, due to the stabilization and everything that whack out MK Davis did. And I can call him whacked out because God, history will support me on that. Right. He did a lot of fabulous work with stabilizing the Patterson footage, and now we can see exactly what the subject of that is. I mean, originally it was too blurry. Originally it was too shaky. Originally, by the time you got any real in frame shots, it was walking away quite a distance away from where they first encountered the thing.
Yeah.
So it took a whole bunch of stabilization for us to actually be able to see those where he's running and resetting the cameras and everything else.
Yeah.
That's another guy.
Hieronymus' story changes so much. It's so hilarious. And people still stick to it. They still go, all these skeptics, they still go, yep, it was Hieronymus. It was Hieronymus. You got Bob Hieronymus going, once they stabilize it, they got some good frames, and they go, hey, there's a little ridge right there in the thighs. You go, well, that's because I left my wallet in my pocket. That doesn't look like a wallet in a pocket, man. He says this film was shot, he said, 5 or 6 miles outside of Widgepeck. It was 40 to 50 miles in. Right. He can't even name where, and this is after several guesses. He was in the wrong state when he first started guessing where the Patterson.
Oh yeah, that was in Lower Oregon, I think. Was when
he first said that. Yeah. And he said he was 100 miles off the next guess, and the closest he got once he caught wind of where they kind of filmed it, he still claims 5. Now, if you're an avid outdoorsman like he was, and you're a horseman, you can tell 5 miles from 40 plus miles. Like there's no mistake in that, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, and the only time he actually even ever got close was when he went there with Philip Morris in that ridiculous costume that they made in the 90s. And it still didn't look as good as what they filmed in 67.
And what Hieronymus says he put on isn't what Philip Morris says he made. So Morris is saying, I made the suit and I made it this way. And Hieronymus
said he made it out of a modified
suit on this way. Well, it's like it's totally different. Those are two totally different things.
Right. Morris claimed that he made a modified gorilla suit.
Yeah.
And that's what they used to film it. But Hieronymus said that, like I said, it was hip waders and a jacket covered in horsehair and an old football helmet based mask that he put on, and that's how we got the look of the real Sasquatch. It's like, well,
oh yeah,
when it was all blurry and shaky, maybe so. But the same people that go, oh well, he passed a lie detector test. Well, yeah, but these are the same people who, when I say, well, Justin Smayhev passed a lie detector test.
So did Roger Patterson, they said.
Yeah,
and they say, oh, well, there's
matter.
no real record of it.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Uncle Bob. I mean that whole Philip
Y'all
Morris
talking about
thing.
my uncle.
Well, I mean, at that point, Bob Gimlin really wasn't part of the scene at that point, really. He was, I mean, it wasn't until social media really struck that Bob, was able to get the iron hot again. What was he doing before that? You never saw him at Bigfoot conference. Well, God, there was only like 1 or 2 Bigfoot conferences a year around the freaking country. Now I can't even count them. States that don't even or aren't even known for Sasquatch have 5 Sasquatch festivals a friggin' year now.
Yeah.
And they just, I see a lot of them have tracked back after COVID because nobody could get licensing. But I guarantee you by next year, they will all be just, stretching it back out, trying to get that Bigfoot money, boy, because that Bigfoot money is important. Dr. Sykes sucked onto the Bigfoot world with a special bear that might walk upright. So he could go to all the Bigfoot conferences and, and suck up the money that's in the Bigfoot world. They see people like Jeff Meldrum who, they've been involved. He's been involved with Bigfoot now for, God, 40 years.
Yeah.
The better part of 40 years. And he's not rich. He ain't balling. He ain't got an entourage. He ain't driving a Maserati.
At least not from Bigfoot. Everything he makes is from the university, and that's about it. All these little special appearances, they didn't get paid if he doesn't.
He gets paid for those.
He gets paid, but I mean, TV money. You had Justin on talking about that.
It's a talent fee. I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
You're not. I mean, from what I understand, the conferences he has a set package. You have to provide him with a hotel and meals and transportation and a taxi from from wherever the stupid airport is, and a bunch of other stuff that goes along with him coming to your I'm gonna make it worth my while, and that way he can sell all of his wares and sell his autograph for $10 a pop. Nice. I don't understand people that charge for autographs. Like, I was on the what was it, the USS Hornet for a big paranormal thing that they do over there every year, and there were a bunch of paranormal celebrity people there hawking all their crap. And the kid that was on Fact or Fake, that was a ex-FBI agent, I can't ever remember his name, but he was there, and he asked me if I would sign a Bigfoot thing that he had for him. And I looked at him, I said, yeah, that'll be $10. And I pointed to his sign that said autographs $10.
No way. I didn't sell an autograph for $10. Jesus, that's horrible.
$10 a signature, bro. That's what those paranormal people were getting back then, was $10. Not for a headshot. Wow. I mean, they give you the headshot with it for $10, and sign it for you. But it was just like, wow. I was like, yeah, I'll sign that Sasquatch thing for you. Yeah, it's $10.
Once you start doing that, man, you lost all credibility, in my opinion.
He's like, but you're not a vendor here. You're an attendee. I'm like, yeah, but you know who I am. I got 3 million YouTube hits, man. My signature's got to be worth what yours is, right? You got what?
You should give him a deal. I'll charge you half.
Right. I'll tell you what. You give me yours. I'll give you mine. Then I can sell yours to the next person that wants it in line over there for you. That way, I can get my money back. Oh God, I can't. Ben, something or other. I can't remember what that guy's name.
Dover.
No, yeah, exactly. Bend over. Ben. I can never remember that guy's name. That's how important or unimportant. Like, I don't even remember the guys from Ghost Adventures names anymore. I watched that show religiously for like the first 3 seasons of it, man. I was into that whole ghost crap. And then like weird stuff started happening in my house. So I stopped watching it. Yeah, I was like, maybe I'm inviting this crap in my house and I just don't want to be part of it. So I'm out. I'm just out, and man, boy, it was anyhow, back to Bigfooting in Bluff Creek. You know, one thing that you made the comment about when your Los Padres investigation over there, is understanding the context of a sighting and a storyline.
Correct.
Somebody can tell you a story, and somebody can tell you what the terrain looks like, and somebody can explain to you kind of where it is. But if you can stand where they stood and see what they saw, like you said, the comment that you said, it couldn't have been anything else but a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
What else could it have been? You can't really get that until you have that context of what the sighting actually was. Me, I've had a whole lot more Class B encounters in my career than I've had Class A encounters. I mean, I have seen with my own eyes 3 Sasquatch and a skunk ape in 25 years of chasing these things around the entire country. I've had eyeballs on, 3 creatures and a skunk ape. Skunk apes, yes, in southern Florida are different than Sasquatch. I can't explain it. I'm just telling you they are, because there's something other than a Sasquatch running around in southern Florida. I can just tell you that much. Okay. It looks more orangutan. It looks more orangutan based, orange in color, longer hairs, shorter legs, but upright walking, forward facing. That's, to me, that's what the skunk ape has always been described as, smaller than a Bigfoot, red in color. Anyhow, I digress. There are Bigfooting in Florida, but it's just the context of it, and that's what you have to understand. It's like when I tell you that something stood outside my campsite in Florida and put a hand on 5-foot palms and shook them violently at me while it screamed at me. It's either a human or something with thumbs. Okay, because a bear is not going to push on 2 trees. A bear get up and get a push on 1 tree, but a bear's not going to put a hand on 2 trees and shake the living crap out of them and be big enough for his hands to fit across that space. It was dark outside, so I couldn't really see anything at that point. But what else could it be? It wasn't a dude, because I had a rifle pointed. If it was a dude, they wouldn't be shaking trees and screaming at me if I had a rifle pointed. They could see me at the fire. There's no doubt I was pointing a rifle in that direction. Big 300 Winchester mag, big holes in things, great big holes in things. So what else could it have been but a Sasquatch?
Exactly. Bigfoot. Yeah. Once you input all the information, there's always 2 sets of data, especially when something's filmed. There's always 2 sets of data. There's this data in front of the camera, what's on camera, and then there's the data behind the camera, which is, if not something that's equally as important, or if not more important. I'll give you a good example. Bart's thermal from up there in the Sierras at Justin's spot. You look at that and you go, oh, well, that's a bunch of BS, man. That's nothing. But once you look at the entire breakdown, you go, okay, this is probably Bigfoot. There's probably multiple squatches there. And
you go over to the para breakdown site. There was definitely a group of something in those trees moving about and watching the campfire that was there. The watching the camp and the people that were in the campfire. Like I've always said, it's either 7-foot tall Mexicans growing, pot growers, which we know that there aren't any grows up there because there just isn't any real place to do it. And, or they were Sasquatch, because those are the only 2 things. And they would be naked pot growers too, because of the way that the thermal, bounced off of them, when they did the recreation of it with clothes on, you could tell that those people were wearing clothes. So, once you eliminate all the stuff that it can't be, what are you left with? John and I were up over Onion Lake on the quads down this freaking quad trail to where it dead ended over the backside of Onion Lake. And we started doing calls and howls off of that hill, figuring anything down in, down around the lake or anything would kind of start coming our way. Neither one of us was armed. The quads were facing in the wrong friggin' direction. And all of a sudden, we hear a bear come crashing through the friggin' woods, chuffing and huffing at us.
Oh, wow.
So we had called in, Yogi Bear, and now it was time to get the beat feet. So be careful what you're doing out there, because even though you're giving off a Bigfoot yell, that doesn't mean that you're not going to grab the attention of something else it's their territory, and they want to find out exactly what's going on with it. So,
yeah.
Do we have two different Tate Hieronymuses here? I don't know. Is there more than one, or is one an imposter? They look like different pictures.
Let's see.
There's a new film project coming out that you're working on as well. Is that true?
Oh man, yes. Dude, it's coming out smooth. I got 2 videos that I'm gonna eventually make. One of them is gonna be the Bluff Creek one. That's the one I'm gonna make first, because the other one I still have to do filming for sometime, and I'm waiting on certain witnesses something to kick up here in SoCal. But anyway, the Bluff Creek one I've been slaving away at. Man, I spent all this money and all this time on the brand new fancy schmancy camera, and it looks crazy cinematic. It's already up to like an hour long in the editing, and it's still got time to go. And it's just looking real smooth. It's like 10 times better than anything I've made before. And yeah, I'm real proud of it so far, but I'm just slaving away at it between doing this move and slaving away at editing. It's looking good, but it's real difficult because, a lot of weird stuff happened on this last trip. As you know, there's times where you go up to the mountains and you do knocks, calls all week, and you don't hear a damn thing. And then there's other times where you go up, and like this time, we actually were very, very lucky. And no matter where we were, except the Patterson Gimlin site, nothing happened there. Even there, we heard a couple strange maybes, but nothing that we were too sold on. But everywhere else, man, we had from the time even before I got there, these 3 guys, Tate, Alex, and Eli, and they have it all on film. It's going to come out in their documentary for the Small Town Monsters Beyond the Trail on the trail of or something or other on YouTube. It'll be out at the end of August. But they had rocks come down at them from that ridge. They got that highway, that old highway just outside of Louse Camp that goes up on the ridge.
Yeah.
And they were driving in, throwing rocks into the creek, and rocks started coming down on them. Big rocks. Nothing that you can just kind of push over. It was really weird. They got that all on camera. We had several things happen, we had a guy's dog that's hiked more than 60 miles on the Appalachian Trail, has been around bears and mountain lions and all that, and never acted like this. And we watched this dog cower, freak out. His owner, Ron, was like, I've never seen him like this. This is right when we started hearing noise, as Jamie's telling us about the Jerry Crew prints were. We were at the site where Jerry Crew casted those prints in 1958.
Down there by the concrete bridge. Oh.
Correct. Yeah. Just about maybe 150 yards after it.
Yeah. And
down in the creek, we started hearing a little snap, crackle, and then we heard this distant knock, right? And there was a guy there. He looked at me. He goes, "Did you hear that?" I go, "Yeah, I did hear that." And then we were like, "All right, let's keep listening." Jamie kept talking, and way up in the distance, we see this guy's Ron's dog kind of go into the bushes, tuck into the bushes, wouldn't come out. He had to make a leash out of my belt and drag him back to camp. And even after that, he acted sketchy. Sounds like one of the guys recorded a whoop right after that. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff on this. It's it's so hard to sit here and try and make this claim. Like, I can tell you what happened and what we heard, the knocks, the several knocks. We were up in Laird Meadow at night. Late night, we broke up into 3 groups. And we were kind of hiding. Me and a guy, Eli, were hiding in the bushes, just waiting there. And we'd wait 10 minutes, do a knock, wait another 10, 15 minutes, do a knock. The other group would do a knock. And then we had this team go up the road. And, that technique, whatever it was that night, just kind of, I think, shook something up. And I don't know the impression that it left me was like some of these things were going, where are you? Oh, I'm over here. Knock, knock. I'm over here. Knock, knock. Because it kind of, I don't know if it threw them off that we separated or what. But what we ended up hearing over the course of like an hour or so was a distant knocks that got closer up the road. And, that was like, I made a comment to Eli saying it sounded like you can hear the bark on the tree split when it hit the wood. I mean, incredibly clear. And we heard that one down the road. We heard another one up the road. We heard a small series of knocks off in the distance. We heard distant knocks behind there. And your interpretation, like, oh, it could be anything in the woods. These were like, pa, bam, like all around, wood on wood. And then I think the most significant thing was like what sounded like a branch being thrown somewhere behind Alex and Tate. And yeah, it was just like, wow, did we really experience all that? Did that really happen? And after that, we sat on the road for 45 solid minutes, dead silence. We had one vehicle take off with everybody, with most people, and it was just the four of us that sat there, kind of pretending that, that everyone was gone, and we sat on the ground. We just stayed there in silence, and it was one of the most frustrating and bizarre experiences because we'd sit there for 10, 15 minutes again, do a little whistle, and you'd hear crick, crack. Okay. You'd wait another 10 to 15 minutes, do another couple whistles, and you'd hear crack, crack, crack on the other side of the road. And every time we did something, you'd hear something move in the bushes. But you wouldn't hear anything move in the bushes when you didn't do anything. And it was dead silent that night. And it was just it was just strange. Like you just scratch your head over and over and over and over. And
it was as if something was waiting for you to make noise, so it felt free enough to move without, noise cover.
Almost like that. It was kind of like there's something staying in the bushes. Then there's a whistle or a little tap. They heard it. They also heard a little tapping to the side of the road. Tap, tap, tap. And they kind of did it. We did it back. It was kind of surreal. It was very surreal. Like over that amount of time. I mean, I've been up there where you hear one thing or two things in a night, but to hear several things within, 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours was like, that's almost too good to be true. It was very difficult to it's kind of hard because you get home and you start going over your audio and it's like, well, I got the knock, but it's like, I know it's a knock and I hear it on the audio, but it's so faint and distant. And it's like, you almost don't want to go out there. It's not presentable is what I'm saying, I guess.
Yeah. I've got a couple examples of those that I pulled out of the audio that you had sent me. There isn't a whole lot there, but there is definitely something that can be recognized. I'll play the first one here. It's just a real short. Hold your breath and listen real close. Kind of a knock bang. Yeah. I mean,
that's one of those distant ones we heard. Yeah.
And then I've got a second example here of there's 28 seconds of you guys interacting with each other while something's going on. So let me go ahead and play the long clip first.
Yeah.
No, I've got that isolated here. Let's play that so to repeat the weird knock pop is what we're listening for. I mean, I swear it's like somebody's opening a bottle of champagne.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird sound. And then there's a branch break, which that happened right behind, because right after that you hear the branch break, then you hear Alex go, "It's right behind us," and Tate go, "Oh shit!" And when it sounded distant, it was like Alex and Tate were maybe 80 to 100 yards from us at the other side of Laird Meadow, and I mean, I heard it like it sounded like something running. I mean, something blasting through the woods, something huge. Like it was loud. When you're there, that's loud. That audio didn't pick it up like you wish it would.
Well, that was like
loud.
When you and I were up there by ourselves waiting for Rowdy to come in with his buddy. We didn't know they were coming, and they did screams off of Onion Lake Road, and the recorder that we had picked them up. But to our ears, we're like, whoa, holy crap.
Blasting, exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but on the recorder, it was such a barely a line in there that I had to draw it all out, normalize it, and bring it all back up because that recorder's not the same as your ears. Most of the time you have it laying flat on a table somewhere. People don't take the time to really even set that stuff up like it should be. Like most recorders are supposed to be straight up and down. Right. We should probably be carrying around a tripod and putting the recorders on tripods so that we don't have them in our hands. And
we got Alex here on Sasquatch Out of the Shadows saying it was creepy. Right behind me. Was sitting against a tree, sounded maybe 20 to 25 feet behind me. So
let's give some shout outs here to the people hanging out live with us. Bo Show. Let's see here. We'll do that over there. Of course, we got Tate Hieronymus in the house with us. Shane Barber, he's here with us. The Reverend Tim McEwen is in the house as well. The debacle, Mr. Franklin. Hello, Franklin. Glad you were with us. The Reverend Rod Dupree, he's always in the place to be. It's just you can't help that. Kid, every single time I get that stuck in my nose. Hey, buddy, glad you're hanging out with us tonight. Let's see here. There's more people. David Lee, hey man, glad you're back. Shane Barber, we said, there's that asshole Jeffrey Kelly. I don't know why that guy comes to this show. I swear to God. Karen Robb, hello, Karen. And there is Aaron and Mary Duncan. By the way, this portion and actually this show right now is being what the hell? Why won't it let me? There we go. That's right. The Indian Creek Hatchery. If you got some extra dollars, send some donations to the Indian Creek Hatchery. They bring 90,000 new salmon into the world every year, and they've been doing it since like the 1800s. So let's keep it going. And Indian Creek Hatchery in outside of Gold Beach, Oregon, great stuff. So yeah, they definitely take care of stuff. Sorry, yeah, a little bit of self-loathing there, I guess. However you put that. Let's see here. Don Reif, the Viking, is in the house. Hello there, my favorite, my fellow Norseman. Victor Lopez. Hola, Victor. Glad you have joined us as well. What kind of desert squatch might we encounter here? There are some encounter stories about Sasquatches near the desert. I'm not going to say that they're in Death Valley, but pretty much anywhere there would be like a spring water source, there's a chance. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what kind of that. Maybe you should be the desert squatch friggin' investigator, and you let us know.
Yeah, you got the Yucca Man out in Anza Borrego Forest out there, which is below San Bernardino Forest. That was old. Those are old reports though, but there used to be for sure. The Spanish wrote about it.
The natives talk about it. The conquistadors talked about it when they were back here in the 1400s. So I mean, there was definitely, who knows. Victor Lopez could be our man in Southern California for the desert squatch. There is Can Squanch is in the house with us. Laura Tarnowski. Well, hello there, Miss Tarnowski. What is the closest town Bigfoot will come to Sacramento, California? Well, I would say not far from you. Plumas County is not far from Sacramento. El Dorado County, not far from Sacramento. Tahoe County, not far from Sacramento. Anything to your east, going up into the Sierra Nevada mountains above 4,000-ish feet, you're probably going to run into territory where Sasquatch roam. Just going to be depending on the season where they are. Good luck, because there's 690 billion acres of wild land out there between those three national forests. But give it a shot. You never know. Camp as wild as you can if you want to have those experiences. That's you have to put yourself in places where those experiences can happen. Otherwise, you get to read and talk about them. Let's see here. Hello, Miss Bella Allegri is in the house with us as well. Sasquatch out of the shadows. Is that Eli?
Sasquatch out of the shadows is Alex Petikov.
Sorry. Hello, Alex. It's we're guessing. I'm like blinking in the watchtower. Blinking. What are you doing in that watchtower? Guessing. I guess nobody's coming. Blinken was blind. Kevin K. Hello, Kevin K. Hello. Gone trapping. Well, what the hell are you doing here if you've gone trapping? I'm down with trapping. I trapped a lot as a kid. I mean, we had a trapping license on our farm because them little bastards ate all the freaking vegetables. You damn vegetarians ought to be like killing all these damn vermin, and just seriously protect your shit, man. Let's see here. Rodney made the comment that to bleed to the hot and wet year-around weather in Florida, simple biology would cause a critter to be smaller in body mass and far less hairy. I don't know, man. Florida's not as wet year-round as you think it is. Springtime, summertime, yeah, it rains quite a bit, but fall and winter, it's pretty freaking dry out there. Yeah, it's hard to say whether they'd be smaller or not, but it's a good. What do they call that? Hypothesize. James the Grower. Hello, James the Grower. Glad you were in the house as well. There's that damn Jeffrey Kelly again. God damn it. He just needs to shut up and go away. Sasquatch. Hello, Sasquatch. Glad you're with us as well. Moving on down the line here, I just saw Jevin. The Life and Times of JCM. Where the hell did he go? I don't know. Isaac Redfield. Hello, Isaac Redfield. Glad you are with us as well. Did I imagine seeing friggin' Jevons? No, there it is. The Life and Times of JCM. Okay. Hey, buddy. Glad you were feeling good enough to watch us tonight. Let's see. Frank Smith. Hello, Frank. We are glad you are with us as well. I don't know why I miss your name like a lot, and I don't want to do that. Right. Winter is pretty cold, surprisingly, in Florida. Yeah, I lived 15 years in Florida, chased the Bigfoot all around the Ocala National Forest. I could help people get on Bigfoot down there. Most likely, I could pinpoint locations where they'd have to be at this point because the water kind of goes in and out in Florida like it does here in California. They have drought seasons. It's all a cycle. The hurricanes come in an 11-year cycle. For 11 years, they build and build and build and get worse and worse. And then for 11 years, they get lighter and lighter and lighter. And then for 11 years, they get tougher and tougher and tougher. So every 22 years, we have a massive friggin' hurricane season. And it's a cycle. It's the cycle of weather. Climate change happens. We know it. We've always known it. But I don't think, what do you think? Is Sasquatch affected by climate change?
No, probably. I mean, hell yeah. Everything's affected by climate change. You know what I mean? Ain't no water in a certain place. You're going to go somewhere else. It's that pretty much that easy. The animals go somewhere else. You're going to go somewhere else. Your food goes somewhere else. You're going somewhere else. And if your food's affected by climate change, you're affected by climate change. It's that easy.
Right. Jade, if you're really going to be investigating the Ocala National Forest down there, I will be glad to show you some pinpoints of exactly where I would start if I were you.
Awesome. Taves man. He'll get out there too.
Well, I mean, if I had 100 ego-free people, we could probably corral one.
There you go.
I don't know that I want to capture it. I don't know that I want to put it in a zoo. I don't know anything. But if I had 52-man teams in the Ocala National Forest, I think we could corral one enough to you could get all the HD video you wanted before you let it go. It wouldn't be easy, and who knows? When you corner it, is it going to rip your arms off and beat you to death with them? There is that. You don't really know, but I honestly think that we could probably force enough activity of those things moving around. But you'd have to have badasses. I mean, there are rattlesnakes, there are pygmy rattlesnakes, there are alligators, there are bears, there are pumas, there are bobcats, there are mosquitoes big enough to carry you off. I mean, you'd need a lot of badasses. You'd really, really, really need a lot of badasses to do it. But yeah, I honestly think it would be a matter of like a week's time of narrowing down where they would be, and then probably 7 days time of freaking just moving in on it. Force enough movement to get some good videos, something. But we all know that that's impossible to get friggin' 50 teams of 2 people with no goddamn egos together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to get a documentary.
Especially Bigfooters, man.
Right, it's hard to get a documentary with 8 people together that all have the same idea. Yeah, I mean, it's just. It really is. Bigfoot comply and have the power of teleportation. Well, Isaac, apparently you're not talking about Bigfoot. You're talking about something else, something hairy out
Zorth
there.
and his friends.
Right, something hairy out there might be able to fly and teleport. That's fine. I just don't think it's Sasquatch. I tell stories of of hairy bipedal things coming out of UFOs. I never call them Sasquatch. I'm not saying that hairy bipedal things don't get left here in exile from some friggin' weird planet like Chewbacca the dog people. Who knows? But Sasquatch is something that's always been here. Paranthropus couldn't teleport. Paranthropus couldn't fly. Paranthropus can't go invisible. Never could. So why would it be able to now?
Correct.
Nothing of earthly, yeah, hairy aliens. Hey, absolutely, dude. You could be very well confused with hairy aliens. I am down with that, bro. There could be hairy aliens. I don't know. Cousin It might have been an alien for all we know. They might be able to fly and have teleportation and mind reading crap and be able to rub your penis until your blood clots go away or something. I don't know. Crotch rubbing. I hear that's a thing with magical Sasquatch.
Oh yeah. No, it cured Dr. J's prostate cancer. You know?
I do hear that if you ever been lucky,
he reached down and he cured my prostate.
If you're ever lucky enough to see those Bigfoot cheeks clap,
oh yeah, maybe
then, all of your ailments will be healed. You just the magicalness of seeing those Bigfoot cheeks clap. If Pennywise was a Sasquatch, I would taste good.
Whoa, hey.
Does that eat me? I don't know. Hey, you want a piece of tape? I mean,
yeah.
If we're stuck in the forest long enough, I might eat. There's some tape left over here from last night. We smoked it. You want some of that? All right. Well, let's get this wrapped up because it's 8:53, my man. What you got coming up in the future besides
a couple weeks from now, no longer than a couple weeks, my channel Western Bigfoot, the site Western Bigfoot Exploration, just like a little sign back here. I'll have a nice video coming out. It's going to be an hour and change long. Some of the best footage you'll ever see of the Bluff Creek area. I mean, there's everything from we saw a couple looking like we saw a couple anomalies in the sky. We saw a few things happen out there. It's going to be cool. It's going to be great. And it's coming out in a couple weeks. Sit down and watch it. Turn the lights down low. Turn the speakers up. Enjoy it. Go subscribe so that way it reminds you. Then after that, I'll be working on my Southern California video. Southern California's Bigfoot in Southern California. So, and we got some goodies in that one if everything pans out to be how it was. So, yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Western Bigfoot Exploration.
All right, and we are just about, let's see here, we're just about a month away from the annual Pie trip into the Ocala, goddamn, I'm stuck on my freaking head now, into the El Dorado National Forest, the Pie Campground in the Pie Valley. We're going to be down there gathering up some gold and doing some Bigfooting and having a good time. It's got vault crappers, running water, and it's a nice family camp. So, the sites are $24 a night. We're going to have plenty of extra space in our camp. I think we can have up to 12 people. And usually we end up with about 6. So, come on out and go Bigfooting into Pie Valley. If you want to, get a hold of me on Facebook and we'll get you a spot set up. I believe the Reverend Rod Dupree is going to come see us this year.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah,
Mary
cool guy.
And, Mary and Ari Duncan, Aaron and Mary Duncan. Yeah. They will be down as well. So it'll be a lot of fun. With that, y'all, I guess it's time. Thanks for being here, Jonathan. I'll have you on again soon.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Usually you're working so damn hard, so much you don't have time to fit me in, but that's how it
working
goes
kids and working kids and Bigfoot here and there.
Exactly. So with that, everybody, have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week with another live edition of the Squatchers Lounge podcast. And may the Squatch be with you. In your butt. Watching them alien cheeks clap.
They really do exist.
They really are real.
Their cheeks really do clap.
I'm telling you, you see those Bigfoot cheeks clap, bro. That's the magic of it.
Confession.
That is the magic of it.
Mm.
If you saw Sasquatch cheeks clap, it cured you. Why is Roger dead? Well, because he didn't see them cheeks clap. He was doing an undulating dance, talking about everybody in the club going to get tipsy. So he didn't see them Bigfoot cheeks clap. So that's why Roger. That's why Bob is still with us, because he saw them Bigfoot cheeks clap.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good Lord. Now we're just rambling on and acting stupid. So y'all have a good night. We'll see you next week.